track list
See,
again.
like,
Too many songs.
there's a lot of songs on there.
We need to have a discussion again down the line about the streaming and the number ones and all that, and even with movies and stuff. How that shit is compromising stuff, in my opinion.
We could talk about it right now.
Fine, talk about it right now.
Wait, so what's compromising? How everyone wants to be number one, like in box office or streaming?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm kind of making a tangent and talking more about movies here, but like, yeah, if you look at movies recently, the budgets are higher than ever. Like, I keep seeing, there was a movie just came out, and the
Minecraft movie,
huh?
Minecraft,
Mickey
movie.
17.
No. It's some great actors in it. The point is, the headline is this movie needs $250 million to break even, and it feels like movies. And again, I'm pivoting into movies here, but it can be said for music too. It's all about like recuperating the cost, and then all the shit gets sent to streaming in 2 weeks anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just feels like the shit has gone overly like only look at the money and the how to get number one. And if it's like people think it's a failure if they don't get number one now or something. I don't know.
What you're saying. People are more hesitant to really be artistic about what they're making, and they want to make things that will recoup them.
Or maybe even their label or the movie
could be the
heads
label.
for something. I don't know.
We were watching the show called The Studio yesterday. Seth Rogen in the show is the head of a movie studio.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much his character is someone that loves the art of cinema, but his boss wants to make movies. So they get the IP Kool-Aid, and he is basically having to choose between Martin Scorsese's version of Kool-Aid versus I think Nick Stowe's version of Kool-Aid. I think that is ultimately what this thing is. You get like the Marvel version of a movie, or you get like the Wes Anderson, Scorsese version of a movie. Obviously, Scorsese, Wes Anderson, their movies are going to be super successful because of their name. But like for newer people coming up, they're not getting the opportunities to make that artistic film.
Right? Nobody's going to support that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a gamble as a motherfucker.
Too much of a risk.
Yeah.
Which is like, I know that I was like kind of caping for the usage of AI. But like, if we are really people that are saying that we love art, especially the process of making art, we have to be actively supporting
the
artists in a real way, because then we're not going to get any art.
We will lose all of these real creators.
We will actually only get AI.
Yes, we will lose all these creators because they will think there's no point anymore.
Yeah,
I can't live.
Why would I want to pay you when I could just get this done artificially?
That's why there's such a backlash all the time, which I mean, like rightfully so for the most part.
Like we were talking about before, physical media. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you put stuff online, then AI learns from the computers, right? Isn't that how it works?
Not exactly.
Right? Don't like when artists put their art on Instagram, the AI can like kind of
like learn from it.
Learn from
there are like certain data. Like Reddit is a common place that like ChatGPT scrapes stuff from. So it can be like an Instagram that they use that data. But it's not always the case. Like everything on the internet, they're like places where they go for specific types of data.
Some things I think have to be purposefully submitted if you want it to be in it.
Yeah,
right?
like and also
I'm not too
think
understanding.
Companies can like ban a company from using because they're stealing. They would technically be stealing that company's data if they were to do that. So more or less yes, but kind of not exactly.
I know we didn't we're not comparing music to movies, but like what you were saying is that we need to like respect the artist integrity or creation. Yeah, I feel it way more for movies, of course, than I do for music, because you can make the argument of like, oh, using a filter, blah blah. In Cardi's case, there's another man doing it, which is why I'm mad.
Yeah,
if he himself sent shitty vocals and they just touched it up, then it's like engineer fixed it. That already exists. But there's a movie called The Brutalist that just came out, and it's like won a bunch of Oscars, and there was some controversy that they used some AI to finish like Hungarian dialogue, or I think it was Hungarian. Sorry if I'm wrong, but it was to finish that dialogue, and the director said, yeah, like it was very small stuff, and he was like just some letters and stuff, and he did his own like voice and just put it through, and they got under fire for that a bit, but he said it would have taken months and months and months to have done that the traditional way, so they just did it to speed it up, and then he said we need to be more open-minded in regards to that. So what do you guys think?
I don't want to hog the voice, but I'm pretty familiar with AI, and I think a lot of it needs to be demystified. Like
Sure.
a lot of what people are mad at is generative AI, and a lot of what is used in art is generative AI.
Mhm.
I think philosophically and morally, the thing that I think what people are getting mad at are those pieces of it and the human touch.
Mhm.
But like you're saying, we need to be more open-minded. If we have a case where it's a person that physically can't make the art with its 8K, and he's putting his stamp of approval on this thing, say, hey, this is something that I get behind, people should be willing to hear that out, because it still is ultimately art is a reflection of someone's like perspective or voice that they're putting out into the
That they
world.
want to share with you.
Yes.
That's fair. I can agree with that.
In most ways that matter in today's world, most people don't care about the process. Like, I care about the process
That's
a
fair.
lot.
It's not for it. Yeah. I get it now. I get it now.
Maybe
you're
that's why I was so against that, is because I care about the
For the
process.
process.
Yes.
I like to create. That's like my whole thing. I love that shit. I love the process and all that. So maybe that's why I'm so against it.
I love the process so much. And with the Miyazaki stuff, the Studio Ghibli stuff, like,
right.
the reason why I'm upset about that is because it subverts the process, and that art style is tied to movies with themes of being humanity versus technology.
Also,
He
like
he has some real
if
like
you just know who
if
guys
you know who he
Yeah.
is, he hates
hates-
computers.
exactly,
Yeah.
you know what
he
he
made the
stands
statement
for.
saying this is like the worst shit. It's like
Yeah.
horrible. Yeah.
And wasn't that like way before AI?
This is
It's like
2016.
2016.
Yeah,
This is like
2016,
a
bro.
decade ago.
So this is beyond disrespectful.
So
he doesn't have beyond didn't give his blessing. Like
Yeah.
this is
So
fucked.
like
Yeah.
when it comes to instances like that,
Yeah.
I'm completely supportive of, hey, fuck AI, especially in these instances. But if it's something where like you're using AI as a tool to get the vision that you want out
Mhm.
there, as with anything, as with cameras, it's a way for me to take a photo. Like when you think when I was first thinking about, is AI art, I mean, and this is what a lot of people thought about. People drawing or painting, they drew portraits of people. Once the camera became a thing, there was no longer a reason to draw portraits of people. Now art became, or drawing and painting basically shifted a lane, and then you had like abstract art, you had all that stuff. So obviously it's not great that people are losing potential jobs as artists, but
I get what you mean.
there are still venues and avenues for people to kind of create the art of it. The business side of it is sticky, and I have a lot of thoughts about it. But as far as it is a tool, I think as long as we recognize that the intent is there, like behind someone creating art and utilizing it as a tool, then it shouldn't be auto say no. I think people should still be critical and still question, like, should this be even included in our life? Because like we talked about this in a couple episodes ago, like what a potential fucking dystopian world could look like if we're all gooners in the fucking goonerism society. Like what world do we want to live in? Do we want to live in a world that is for humans by humans?
Humanity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We should be doing that. Our actions should reflect that.
I'm with you on
But
that,
at the same time, like, how much different is it from us adopting the camera or adopting certain tools? Like, it is, and some people don't agree with this. It's fine if they don't agree with this, but I think it's the logical next step, or the logical extreme of like technology in the first place.
No, I mean the example you made, like abstract art, and then of course like computer art, tablet art, all that shit. I'm sure there was backlash at first.
Yeah.
Right. Like what the fuck, blah blah blah. You're not using supplies. Like that's not
fair.
fair.
Yeah, that's not pen and paper. This
Right.
is-
Yeah, like this. None of this is like a new
For sure.
thing.
We always have
for
this.
real.
Yeah.
My thing on that is, I agree that like if used responsibly, it could be a really good tool.
Which it won't be.
And
it won't
that's
be.
the thing, and that's the thing with human nature.
Yeah, where do you draw
Funnily
the line?
enough, common side effects. If you never watched that show, I don't know, spoilers. I don't.
Pretty shiced.
Spoiler alert.
No,
Get your shit
no
off.
spoilers. Okay, so the human nature is that you're gonna take it to the extreme. You're gonna say, "Oh, we can stretch it and do this." much with it, and we could push it and get this much out of, instead of just in moderation. Let me
And
just
optimize
use it.
this, doing that.
So instead of like using ChatGPT to write your whole essay, use it as a tool to do a skeleton or help you get points, and then you write it. But no one does that. They're just gonna like do the extreme, and I think that's the problem.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
that's just human nature. I think.
yeah. I think people were probably upset with the movie because of a lot of what Killy said, but also it's kind of scary because for those people, because they're like, well, where do we draw the line? Like, is a couple words in Hungarian or whatever it was okay versus a few sentences versus the whole dialogue versus the entire dialogue in the movie? Like, where do we draw the line and say it's okay? It's kind of hard to say where that line is,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's why a lot of people are reserved with this, because they're like, well, I'd rather not use it at all, because once this is opened, it can't be closed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
After what Akil said, to me now it's sort of like, I guess it is more important based on what the creator says. Like I'm not as mad as I was 30 minutes ago about Playboy Cardi using AI, because I can accept the possibility. It's not even possible. Maybe that's just true, that is the final project he wanted to show. That's what he wanted to share. That is what he considered to be the best form of that song.
Yeah.
So I can be like, oh, I wish you sang on it, but from his perspective, that's his project, his creation, and that's what he thought was the optimal way to so then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I mean,
Art has two existences: the existence of the creator and the existence of the viewer. Like,
that's tough.
and that's I think it's perfectly fair for the creator to say, this is an accurate reflection of what I wanted to create, but it's also fair for the audience to say this is a disgrace to mankind or disgrace to art. I
Dragon
think
Ball
that's-
Z live action.
And both matter equally, because once you release art into the world, it's up for interpretation.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
very
So
true, very true.
So both opinion. So even if you're an artist and you meant it to be red,
Right.
and everyone else saying blue, then it's like, well, if they
That shit
say
blue now.
blue, then I guess it's red and blue. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same.
right,
thing.
it's still red, but it's red and
Yeah.
blue.
It's red and blue.
One thing I
It's
wanted
tough.
to bring up, because it was such a popular movie, was it could have been both of them, but the Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Mhm.
I do believe that I forget exactly what the details were, but I do believe that they incorporated AI in some of the animation. And to my understanding, it's not AI in the same way that people are imagining AI
Generative
with the
type shit.
Studio Ghibli type of thing. Like, machine learning is AI, and that's just like more or less rapid learning on like a massive database, using like naive Bayes or neural networks, whatever the thing is. I'm not going to go into a huge thing about it, but when people hear that, there were a lot of people saying for that movie, like, damn, why they use AI in this amazing movie that a lot of people loved.
Mhm.
It was a tool to make the
Movie
thing
what
that
it is.
what it is.
Yeah.
I understand why people won't like that. I think it's a fair point, but I think as long as we can get to the point where it's like, it is a tool, that is the line.
It being
The world is always
Yes.
moving towards
Not the
being
whole
more
product.
efficient.
Yes.
That's just how things are.
Ironically enough, you can make an argument that like AI in that movie specifically is like justifiable, because
What's the argument?
all of the different Spider-Man.
That shit probably would have never came out if
They
they
were like,
had to do
AI
that themselves.
Spider-Man, just how they got every other type of Spider-Man.
Animation is so expensive and takes
It's
so
it takes
long,
so
and
long.
it's so hard to do.
Yeah.
For a movie like that, where like all like the particles and shit like that,
Bro,
imagine how
that
long
movie's
that
a visceral experience. Remember we went to the theater and saw
Yeah.
that and we were like, whoa. Like, dude, that shit is like,
Yeah.
there's nothing like that
Remember
one.
when you say you fuck with Shamik more? Remember that?
yeah, sure. I do remember when I
I think
said
we're at an hour, fellas.
I do remember when I said I love that guy. Yes. Dope is my favorite movie featuring ASAP Rocky.
Yo, good movie right there.
Great movie.